We are recording, and Kevin's taking the last 30 seconds to finish up a move in his game.
Come on, baby. As long as I don't crash again, I got it.
We believe in you.
Stairs. No, I missed it because I'm up.
Tell everybody what you're playing, bud.
Playing Skate 4. Trying to get this challenge done. You can start. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, hello. Welcome back to the Hey It's Sid podcast. I don't know. Intros still make me feel really awkward, especially when it's with you guys, because I'm just like, I can't. It's like putting on your customer service voice. So this video, I originally did film a server reacts with Kev and Caleb, but I found an adapter or like an adaptation or something I can put on my computer. I'm not a very computer savvy person, but as a Gen Z, I'm not a very computer savvy person, and it's kind of a sad reality, but it's okay. But I tried to find a program that would record everybody at the same time, since Google Meets only records the person that's talking, so you guys could see everybody's reaction. But that software made the video audio absolutely trash, and it was unusable, and it was a struggle to get through the podcast. And I appreciate Kevin and Caleb for getting it through it with me, but it didn't work. See, like for example, Kevin just put his hands up like this, but since he didn't say anything, you're not going to see it. But I will figure out some other stuff maybe in the future to try to figure that out. But for now, we just have whoever's talking being recorded. But so we're going to redo the servers react to Reddit stories. We are going to do another reading Reddit stories, but server edition. So these are all restaurant stories, and my coworkers and former coworkers are going to be responding to it, because if you remember the first serving episode, we've all worked in the serving industry, the restaurant industry, for many years now. So with that further ado, can I get my first introduction, because Kevin had to step away from a minute. So the lovely McKenna, can I get your introduction?
Hey buddy, how's it going? Can't respond, but I'm happy you're here.
True. I mean, you could be like, respond in the comments.
Yeah, true. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me how's your day going, your week, your life.
Tell McKenna specifically how you're doing.
Yeah, I want to know.
I guess I don't know if we should probably wait for Kevin to get back for the first story, but I can again edit out this part. But if we say anything interesting, I'll keep it in. But McKenna is also repping the Bistro Huddy shirt.
Let's go. We stand Bistro Huddy. Drew Talbert, we love you. Follow us.
Dream guest on my podcast.
For real.
Probably one of my exes. Just kidding. No. Drew Talbert. Yes. Whenever we get the quality better, and maybe, hey, you never know. Everybody's got to start somewhere. So Drew Talbert, please. My McKenna and my episode about Bistro Huddy is so far the top performing podcast I've filmed so far. So we could venture off. Kevin did come back into screen a little bit, but
momentarily.
How do we feel? I know he's caught up. How do we feel about Nicole getting fired, bro?
Crazy. Honestly, like I kind of saw it happening, because like of course Spencer doesn't like her very much, but I loved everybody's reactions when she like walked out. They were just like, no. I think it was so sweet, but obviously this is not the end.
Oh, it's definitely not. And me and McKenna shared the Patreon account, so we got to see the behind the scenes too. We got some more Ruby Cole action too, and I'm excited about it. But Kevin, what you got there?
Papa John's.
Fire.
Oh, that is something I wanted to say too. I told them I would preface this before we started recording, but preface, I got my wisdom teeth taken out last week, so today has definitely been the best day. Feeling wise, not in much pain, but I'm still having trouble with some words and like slurring my words and stuttering a little bit. So when I'm reading these, just be kind to me, because I'm still doing my best, because I still got holes in the back of my gums. But I did upgrade to eating pasta today. I'm so excited to be able to actually eat like chicken though. I want an ACP so bad. It's like my hyper fixation food right now. It was Panera, but it's slowly moved to that, but that's okay.
I can't believe it ever moved from Panera. You
I
stand
know. Before that, it was chicken quesadillas from Taco Bell, but then I got food poisoning from that, and I haven't been able to think about or smell Taco Bell chicken since. And it could have happened to any company, I will say, but I was sick, throwing up so bad for like ever, it felt like. But anybody have anything they would like to say before we get into the first story? I've got 4 stories for us today.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Kevin, every time you make a reaction, you know you have to make a noise, bud. That was a choice, but okay. Thank you. Like I said, I will try to do more research about if I can find a way to show everybody, but for right now, this is what we're sticking with. And then hopefully one day I want to have, like, I'm in the market for a house. I want to, if I get a 2-bedroom, I want to like make the second bedroom into like a little art room, kind of like I'm in my craft room right now filming this, but I kind of want to maybe get like a fun LED sign, and then we can do like in-person podcasts because I'll have my own space to do that, and I think that would be fun. Obviously, McKenna can't do that unless she's in town, but maybe I can do some episodes with her out there. You never know.
Come to Colorado. Who said that?
Who said that? But okay, let's get into it. This one is from r/Tales from Your Server, and I'm reading these off a screenshotted. First story today. The owner of the restaurant kicked out one of my tables for yelling at me about a receipt. Initial thoughts?
Honestly, go king or queen.
Yeah, good thing.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, I need to turn my ringer off because I just got a Snapchat, so I don't get a bunch of random notification sounds.
Like,
Okay.
certain restaurant owners can never.
Honestly. I mean, they did do that in Bistro Huddy. We're talking about Bistro Huddy again. Okay.
I was just going to bring up, it's always there.
I'll be there.
There.
When I'm not there, I'll be there. It was my first day at a pizza restaurant. This place was always slammed. It's really where I learned how to be a good server. Before that, I just worked at overstaffed burger joints or Italian restaurants. Things were moving pretty fast, but I was doing surprisingly well. I had about 10 tables, and I was used to about a 3 to 4 table section. I will never forget this couple that came in and sat down at table 24. They were an old couple. I'm talking both gray-haired and overdressed to be at a pizza restaurant. This is how I felt about my first place, because people were always pretentious, and I was like, it's a pizza buffet. Calm down. I will say I did give them excellent service despite my frazzledness of starting a new job. I was feeling it and felt great about handling all of my tables until I did mess up. The man at table 24 handed me his card to close out. I'm busy, like didn't even have time to pick out a wedgie if I had one busy. I go to the computer and swipe his card. Admittedly, I forgot to print out the itemized receipt, which can be very frustrating. The man at 24 had every right to be upset, but instead insisted on asking me to grab the itemized receipt. He began to loudly, in a small room with a deep and firm tone, tell me how horrible I am at my job and that no wonder I only got as far in life as working at a pizza shop. He kept going on with these terrible comments and wouldn't let me walk away when I tried, so all of my other tables just saw me getting ripped a new a-hole, and I'm in the weeds after wasting time getting yelled at by this guy. The owner of the restaurant must have overheard at some point and come over to the table. He saw this man yelling at me and came up to the table and did the most bad A thing I've ever seen. Owner, excuse me, sir, he says to the man at the table. I'm the owner of this establishment. I'm not sure what the problem here is, and frankly, I don't care. He said, excuse me, sir, he said to the man at the table. I am the owner of this establishment. I'm not sure what the problem is here, and frankly, I don't care. What I do care about is you belittling my waitress, so I'm going to ask you and your wife to leave and not come back to my restaurant. Man at the table 24. Fine, but you'll be losing our business. Owner, I really don't care, and I don't want people like you in my restaurant anyway. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen. The owner stood there and waited for these people to leave. I can't say that sentence because there's a lot of cuss words. After they left, the owner came up to me and said, F those people, you're doing a great job, and I wouldn't have hired you if you didn't show potential. If anyone else talks to you like that, I want you to tell them to F off and get out. I don't want their money anyway. Coolest, period, boss, period, ever, period. Kevin was clapping his hands, but I don't know if the sound registered enough for it to film that.
On business.
Stand firm.
Agreed.
Well, I feel like more restaurant owners need to be like that. I don't think there's enough restaurant owners and even restaurant managers that stand up for their employees. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, the customer's always right. Customer's always right. You know, the customer is the foundation of the business. That is not true. Not true. It's like, it's so much better to have employees that respect you and, you know, like their job instead of, you know, treating them like crap and always putting the customer before them. Because especially in a restaurant, the employee is going to do better service wise if they know that they're backed up, especially when they didn't do anything wrong, really. So I don't understand it, honestly. I don't understand why some owners and managers, like, they do not give a crap about their employees. Oh, we can just find someone better. We can just replace them. But now your establishment is full of a bunch of newbies that don't know what they're doing, and your, like, company is crumbling to the ground. Great job. I could go on and on, I swear.
McKenna and her takes. We love it.
My rants. I swear I could just keep talking forever.
You're good. So the top comment said, serving made me realize some people think our lives depend on their business exclusively. I don't need your $5 tip to pay my bills. If you're gonna be a bee and moan the entire time you come out to eat, at one of my tables, your tip isn't worth the trouble, and honestly, I'd rather clean toilets for that base pay. In parentheses, not really, don't tell my boss I said that in parentheses.
So true, though.
I think McKenna really covered it, to be honest. Those more people need to be like that. More managers, owners need to be like that, backing up their team.
True. One more comment says, when I was bouncing, I used to tell misbehaving people that I would rather not take their tip/bribe because then I'd be obligated to put up with their BS all night. I told them they'd be better, or they better be on their best behavior, which included being polite to my waitress, or else I'd just remove them. I feel like bouncers have more of authority to do that in places with, like, security, though.
Mm-hmm.
This place in the actual story probably is similar to, like, where we work is not a very, like, I guess, an area that's like a tourist attraction. I feel like places you'd need that more at.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready for story number 2?
Let's go.
Dose. Okay. So I think I got these stories a few weeks ago, and we were planning on filming this last week, but I was only a few days off of wisdom teeth surgery, and I didn't feel like doing it because my jaws were hurting so bad. But I think I got all of these stories from r/tales from your server, because this one's also r/tales from your server. So pretty good subreddit. Okay, this one's a long one, so bear with me. Guy tips big to impress his date, but returns afterward to take the money back.
Okay.
Insane.
Yeah, so I actually have heard this one before on the Two Hot Takes Reddit podcast and on the Smosh Reads Reddit Stories podcast, but then I found it while I was scrolling. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to read this here, even though it's probably been very well overdone on many Reddit reading podcasts, but it was needed because this story is a doozy. Okay. We had a guy come in last night with his date. Throughout the evening, he was the picture of courtesy and good manners. He complimented me, thanked me every time I came to refresh waters or check on the table, made a point to be forgiving of a kitchen mistake, super extra nice. The dream customer, really. I appreciate it, but didn't delude myself that I was the source and figured he was in a good mood because the date was going well. They were chatting, laughing, and having a great time, so I assumed I was an indirect beneficiary. He was certainly in some kind of celebratory mood because he was sparing no expense. He asked for our highest quality wine. She got the most expensive entree. He ordered one of every appetizers for her to sample when she made a remark that she was having trouble deciding. It was a real feast. So the evening starts, wrapping up, and I get their check. I asked if they'll pay together or separate. She starts to say separate, but then he makes a big deal about saying, "Oh, are you kidding? Together, definitely together. You never have to pay when you're with me, babe." And so on and so forth. Then slides me a credit card. I get everything sorted out and bring the receipt. He fills it out, and it came to be $289 even total. He doesn't even blink and makes a big show of leaving a $100 tip, thanks me for his service, and emphasizes what a lovely night they had. Of course, that tip size is exceptional, so I thanked him profusely. He said there was no need to thank him and goes on a big tear about how underappreciated waitstaff are and to think of it as a stand-in for all those ingrates that don't treat me right going on, don't plan to tip, don't plan to eat out, you know. Looking at me and then looking at the mesmerized girl the whole time and not giving me a glance. I could care less where he was looking. I was looking at the upcoming $100. I thanked him and said again, I hope to see them back soon, and that was that. So he helps her into her coat and off they go. Great night. I was riding high. About 90 seconds later, he's back at the door without her going, I think I left my then. When the door shut and looking to make sure she was out of earshot, he goes, without the slightest shade of shame or embarrassment, mark the tip down to $20, hun. I was just playing it up for my date. You understand, and turns to go. Oh, I understood, but not how he hoped I would. But I couldn't make a scene in the middle of work. That's not my place. So I said one more time in order to give his conscience a chance to sink in. Okay, sir, you'd like to amend your tip from $100 to $20. Is that correct? Even though I didn't show a hint of displeasure in my voice, he shot back extremely hostile. Yes, and if it's a cent over 20 on there, I'm going to dispute the whole meal with my credit vendor. So don't try to pull anything. The most frustrating part for me was that this was not even going to be over a 30% tip to under a 10% tip, but rather than this poor girl being strung along with no idea who the guy was behind her back, it was extremely manipulative of him. And this was a major flag. I've had my fair share of toxic relationships in the past and really wish someone had pulled the blinders off my eyes, so I desperately wanted to do something to alert this girl to the trick the guy had pulled, hoping it would be a catalyst to her questioning his other actions. But again, I was at work and this just wasn't my place, so I altered the bill and that was that. Then, just in time, something occurred to me that I darted outside hoping to catch them in the parking lot. Or I got lucky. They parked on the street instead and he was dealing with a parking meter. So I flagged him down and rushed across the street, nearly stumbling into traffic in my haste for a delicious moment. His date was already in the car, but rolled down her window since no one expects the waitress to follow you out to your car waving her arms like a crazy person. I made my way across and said, more than loudly enough for her to hear, Sir, we amended your tip from $100 to down to $20 as you requested, but I actually need you to fill out a different receipt reflecting your new total for our records. Your old receipt still has your original tip of $100 written on it, but since you came in and asked us to charge you $20 instead, we have a discrepancy in our records. I hope you understand this is just a bookkeeping regulation that goes way above me. It has nothing to do with you. Or it has nothing to do with you retrogradingly downgrading your tip from $20 to $100, and we're glad you enjoyed the evening. His jaw was on the floor. He tried to pretend as though he didn't know what I was talking about and tried giving me some line about, I think you're after someone else. I'd only come back because I forgot my keys. But I would not let it rest. The more he played dumb, the more I repeated the versions of, you wanted me to change your tip from $100 down to $20. You came back in, and on and on. So we went back and forth for a few seconds when he finally went, okay, whatever, sorry for the miscommunication. If you need me to fill out a new receipt, I can. You only need to fill out a new receipt if you want to change your tip from $100 down to $20. And I'm guessing he didn't have the money in his account because he did it. He filled out a new receipt. His girlfriend was visibly shocked, and the man was staring daggers through me, and you could feel the rage emanating off of him. It was vicariously quite satisfying in the place of other toxic men I never did quite get that confrontation with, and all the bad tippers. Ironically, the exact kind of speech he made, decrying just a few minutes beforehand. And then they drove off, I'm sure to never patronize our restaurant again, but hopefully never to go out together again either, which would make it totally worth it.
What a loser. What an L-man's. Do better. If you don't have it, don't spend it.
So true.
Well, he literally said that in the, his whole spiel to her about giving her the $100, where he was saying, if you don't have it, don't go out and eat. And I think I'm like, dang, bro. Walk what you preach.
It's
what?
Imbecile.
Oh, okay.
I think if it were, kudos to her for getting that satisfaction, because I bet that was satisfying as heck. But honestly, if it were me and he wrote 100 on the thing and signed it, then I wouldn't do anything. And if he tried to dispute it, there's proof that he signed it, which means that he accepted it, you know?
Yeah, that wouldn't hold up in court, I don't think.
So, like, honestly, I bet her satisfaction was worth the like negative $80 that she would have gotten, you know? Honestly, I would have just kept that shit. By the time that went to court or anything, I would have gotten my paycheck already. I would have been $100 richer.
This is why we love having you on the podcast. McKenna spilling the takes. Okay, but some comments. A great way to get back at him, I would have had said, no problem, keep the $100. He signed it, so the dispute would fail. So that's exactly what you said. And someone said, exactly this. Whenever people dispute tips, we keep the slip so we can see if a staff member put it in the system wrong or if the person forgot they tipped, etc., etc. So exactly what you just said. Yeah, I agree. At the restaurant we all work at, you can do that. Bartenders have that option more than servers do because we have a handheld. Has something ever like that happened to you, Kev, since you're a bartender? Or like couldn't read the receipt and wasn't sure what to put in as the tip type of thing?
Some people are just bad at math. So say your bill's like 35 and you wrote $7 on the tip, but you wrote 44 instead. I'm just gonna take those extra too. That's total you were intending to give me. And I actually passed up one of those the other night because it was like a whole $10 ahead.
That's a great question. Like, do you go off the tip that people write or the total?
Whichever's going to give you that little bit extra.
So true. That's a Bistro Huddy episode.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that's a Bistro Huddy episode too.
But you know what's so funny is that when I was serving at y'all's restaurant, I actually did an experiment of sorts, if you will, because even though we had our handhelds and, you know, people can sign and do tip on the handhelds, sometimes, especially if the handhelds would crash or something, I would have to print out the ticket anyways. And so I did this experiment where if I printed out a ticket, like I did one whole shift where every single one of my tables, I just printed out the ticket instead of giving them the handheld. And I noticed that a lot of the times people tip higher when they have to write it out instead of just shoving the handheld in their face and it having 20% already sitting there. I
remember when you did that, actually.
Yeah, that's why I did that. But I also noticed that sometimes people would either forget to write anything on the receipt when I give it to them, or they would take the receipt that they filled out with them. So I wouldn't get anything. So my conclusion for that little experiment is even though people tend to tip higher because like they just don't know what 20% is off the top of their head or they're bad at math, it cancels out or almost ends up being less if people forget or take it with them, so it is nothing. So it's better to just get 20% every single check instead of getting like a little bit more and then nothing sometimes. I thought it was really interesting.
I agree. I didn't know that second half of when you were doing that sometimes they would just take it with them.
Yeah, it was really annoying.
Very big risk. I actually, when I was bartending the other day, my guy at the bar forgot that he had already signed his slip and paid and everything. And then he saw the receipt on the clipboard and he like grabbed it. It was already the signed one. He didn't realize that. And he like balled it up and he was about to like stuff it in his pocket. I was like, I need that. That's mine. $15 on 54. That's good. I almost didn't have that. Hey man, that's friend. Good times.
Nice. I did want to share from this story specifically when I was reading it out. I had a story that I didn't share the last time that I wanted to share from my first server job, not the current place we work at. A story based on this where I got quote unquote revenge on a bad tipper, but he was more than a bad tipper. He was a nightmare customer. And I'm pretty sure I've told both of you this story before, but if I haven't, my bad. It's like my favorite serving story. Well, it's my favorite revenge. It's the only revenge server story I have. Like, you know what I mean. But anyway, the first place I worked at was a buffet, but we had a menu if you wanted to order off the menu, but people really didn't that much. But you would pay after you ate at the buffet, because your name had to, in the system, your ticket had to be associated with the server. You couldn't just come and pay before. And the reason they wanted to do this, it was a nuclear family that would always come in. The reason they didn't want to do this was so they didn't have to tip. It was a man who was like the main aggressor because he was the man. Sorry, the internet, but like, you know. And his wife, and then they had 2 kids that couldn't have been more than 9, if that, 1 boy and 1 girl, so literally a nuclear family. and I was a cashier and a server at this restaurant. So sometimes, some nights I would serve, some nights I would be a cashier. It just depended on how they scheduled me. Every time I was a cashier, if they came here, like, can we pay first? And I was like, no. And I explained it, and he would call me a C word. And again, I was like, when he came in for a year, I only worked there for like a year and a half, give or take. So he was telling me that as like an 18-year-old child, and when I left, I was 19. Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to think about my timeline. Give or take around those age, but still a teenager. And then this is a grown man in at least his 40s or 50s. He would call me the C word, he would call me a B word, all of the things under the sun. And I'm just over here like looking prepubescent of a child. Like, I'm just trying to do my minimum wage job, sir. Please stop. When I started serving, he would never leave me any tips, and I did not have a good time serving him. Same thing, always verbally abusive. My managers didn't do anything about it. And his wife was always super apologetic for him, but I'm like, I can never imagine being with a man like that would be so willingly to berate somebody like that. It's just not right. But on my last day there, I was so sick of this place. I want to say, allegedly giving everybody the veteran discount. So everybody got 10% off that day. I definitely broke a lot of rules, but there's some more like things that I could say about that restaurant, allegedly, for legal purposes. Don't sue me. Anyway, of course, on my last day at this establishment, he came in with his family, and it was a sit yourself place, so there wasn't like a host that sat you anywhere. Of course, they sat in our party room, which sat about 100 people. It was just one family, this one nuclear family just decided they wanted this whole room for themselves, and we would allow people to sit in there if we didn't have anybody on the like reservations to have it, and we didn't, but still, it was just kind of like annoying to me. They weren't ordering off the menu, they were doing the buffet, so I got them their drinks, and I did not talk to them for the rest of the time because I'm like, I'm not wasting my energy on this today. And for some reason, he was extra petty about it, but usually I would still like fill up their drinks and try to make sure they were having an okay time, even though they were mean to me. But to this day, not having it. But he never would tip me. But for some reason, this time he decided he was going to leave a quarter on the table. For some reason, an actual
Ew.
quarter, right? I know, and I'm like, that's more insulting than leaving nothing.
For real. It really is.
And so, in my devious little 19-year-old head, I picked the quarter off the table, and I saw him paying at the front and about to walk out the door. I like trotted over, because you can't even say it was a run, but it wasn't a speed walk either, so you know what I mean. Like, I trotted over the door, and I went, "Oh, sir. I was like, you forgot your quarter." And he looked at me, and he's like halfway out the door, and he looked at me, and I had the quarter in my hand, and he's like, "That's your tip, B word." And I just looked at him, looked down in the quarter, and this sounds so much more brave than it is, and I always say that when I tell this story because I am not this brave. I promise you, I was doing this the whole time. I was like shaking, probably with like fear and just anger at how he had treated me over my year and a half-ish working at this restaurant. I looked down at the quarter and I said, "If this is all you can afford to give me, I think you need this back." He like ripped it out of my hand and threw it down onto the sidewalk and was like, "We're never coming here again." His son is like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And again, less than 9 years old, his son is apologizing for him. If you're apologizing for your parent, I hope that kid's okay, and I hope he's in therapy now with a good therapist.
gone.
Because yeah,
Kid,
he
come
was like,
back.
"This is my last. We're never coming back here again." And I waved him off in like the best like customer service voice I could muster. I was like, "It's my last day."
Honestly, good for you though. That does take some balls.
I don't think I have that in me now, to be honest with you, because I'm not really a type of person that I stand up for myself. I did stare the guy down with you, I know, but that was because I was standing up for somebody else. I don't really know. I think that was just pure being verbally abused at that restaurant by that same man for a year. That just energy, I don't know. I don't know where it came from, and I don't know where that girl is now. But I did want to share that story because it was like a revenge on a quote-unquote bad tipper. He was worse than a bad tipper because he was mean to me, but still, I did want to share that.
We love that though. Like, good for you for standing up for yourself.
Thank you. I try. Okay. Voila. Okay. Story number 3. So we've had 2 bad customer stories, or 2 nightmare customer stories. Now I have a nightmare coworker story because I tried to give a little bit more variety. So this one again from r/tales from your server. Don't be this coworker. Last night I was behind the bar and also taking tables as it was a slow night due to the bad weather we were having. Around 2 hours before we close, one of my coworkers, we'll call him Derek, a relatively new hire who is notorious for sharking other server sections, came in with a couple of friends. No big deal. I come in and get discounted food all the time. However, I usually get it to go, and I've never brought friends to sit down and take up 2 tables in the happy hour area. Whatever, it's slow. I try to make the best of it. I walk over to the tables with 3 waters and ask him what he's been up to tonight, introduce myself to his buddies, and the 3 of us get to chatting for a couple of minutes while Derek kind of sits silently. I notice they're wearing Letterman jackets and comment on the school they're from, as I knew some people that went there before I graduated. One of the friends asks where I went to school, and before I had the chance to answer, Derek pipes up and says, "We don't give an S where you went to school. 3 margs and pour 'em heavy." And they were wearing Letterman jackets, guys. McKenna did make a face at that.
I like the look of Letterman jackets. I wish they would come back, but who wears those anymore? For real.
Well, it just kind of implying they're in high school too. And he just asked for 3 marks, pour 'em heavy.
Oh, I honestly didn't catch that, but
You're good. I haven't worn my Letterman jacket since high school. If you're wearing it after high school, I think it's kind of weird. I mean, maybe like a few years, but after a while, it's kind of like, okay, we get it. Like you played a sport in high school. I just silently turned around, went back behind the bar after telling my manager I wasn't going to serve them for 3 reasons. 1, I know that Derek is in fact only 19. 2, I wasn't even going to bother asking the others for IDs because they were in Letterman jackets, embellished with the graduation year, and they couldn't have been older than Derek. 3, Derek had cursed at me for no reason I can think of other than he wanted to look cool and tough in front of his buddies, which is a game I'm not going to play. So I grab another server to take care of their order and warn her to check his friend's IDs thoroughly. Sure enough, the 2 buddies both conveniently forgot their IDs. Derek ordered some cheap food, but was also very rude to the other server, so that after the second strike, she dropped the bill without a word, nor a discount, and no other server went to check on them or refill their drinks or get them any more food. So they proceeded to sit there, taking up 2 tables and drinking their ice waters for 2 hours. We had a 9-top come in, and we had to push 2 tiny high tops together for them because they were taking up the middle 2 of the 4 much bigger low tops, and Derek refused to move to one table. They only got up and I finally went back over and said, "We're closed, grab a broom or get out." The best part is he had the audacity to stiff the other waitress. I've spoken to my manager about the issue already and plan on ripping Derek a new one the next time we work together. So just PSA, fellow servers, don't be like Derek.
Don't be a Derek. Don't do it.
It's terrible.
Like, why would you do that? Like, if you're a server, you should know how to treat other servers, especially your coworkers. Like, come on.
Dude, for real. I have to say, we have worked with some pretty crazy people, but I don't think we've ever worked with anybody that's ever been mean to the wait staff while coming into the restaurant. At least I haven't. I don't know if you guys got any stories, or Kevin, if you've got any stories from your other restaurant, or McKenna, if you have any stories from your other restaurant.
Not really. I've never had like a coworker or like another server be mean to me. I feel like it's just an unspoken rule, you know? Like, you know how you want to be treated by other people, so you're not gonna go and do it to people that like you know are in your position.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's
and I feel like a 19-year-old should know better. And I don't think like cussing out your coworker makes you look cool in front of your buddies. They both shook their head, but I don't know if they made enough noise for it to film on either of them. But I promise they reacted.
Terrible.
No.
Thanks, guys. Okay. One of the top comments said, "Derek should be fired. Screw him." I love how that's just like, that's the top comment. Also, this story is from 7 years ago, by the way. I forgot to mention that. And then all of the comments were pretty short on this one, so I screenshotted it more than I had on the others. But one says, or X Witch said, "Just imagine the ending where Derek complains to the manager that he didn't get his employee discount, and the manager says, 'That's because you don't work here anymore.' It's a good dream to have."
That's great.
I wish that would like again, that's just a theoretical comment, but that would be funny. Most of the other people are just saying he should be fired, he should be fired. I agree. Even though he's not on the clock, I still think that's a fireable offense. I was actually talking about that with somebody the other day. I can't remember who I was talking about that, but we were, as a teacher, we can't do certain things outside of school because we have to like have this essence of, I guess, like being an upstanding citizen, and like how that works in the restaurant. It's like some of the people you hire, they be doing crazy stuff outside of work. But at what point is it fireable or not? But I think that's fireable because it actually happened at their job.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Okay, and so the last one, I believe, has an update. Yeah. Okay. Again, yeah, so we're in for the long haul again, but that's okay. We get an update, so you don't have to be worried if we don't. Like, I wish we had an update on if Derek got fired or not, but we don't. Okay. So this is from 3 years ago from r/Tales from Your Server by the Green Chorizo is the username.
Fire.
So this one's my coworker stole my tips. And I picked this one because we did have a coworker at one time who was stealing tips from us.
Honestly, like, she had balls though, but she did get fired.
She did, but yeah, that was crazy.
Am I allowed to say balls?
I don't know. One time you said it and I blurted out. I blurted out on our Biltmore video because you said a plant looked like saggy balls. So
I just thought about it. Like, she's probably gonna have to bleep that out because I said she had balls.
You're okay. It's just like no. You're fine. It's just like if every other word coming out of any of our mouths, I'm just like, oh no, I can't put that many bleeps in this because there's so many, and sometimes I accidentally miss them, and I'm trying to keep the channel PG, So, but no, I probably will blur it. But you're fine, dude. She made a face. She's very sorry.
I'll be
She's
nice.
very sorry to the public. Girl, you're fine. But yeah, I do remember that. So go watch our Biltmore video and you'll know what we're talking about. Okay. So, my coworker stole my tips. So I picked up a shift on Sunday and worked through most of it before I had a medical emergency and had to leave. This isn't the first time this has happened to me at this restaurant, though it's been a few years. The same people who were working with me the last time are the same people managing the place now. The other servers are all new or a few months in. So yeah, the managers put my money in the office in an envelope and locked it into the office. I told them I'd be back in the morning to pick up my tips, so they said they'd bring the money out and put it under the cash register so that I could grab the envelope and go. One of the managers popped open the drawer and my money was gone. She runs to the back to check the office and my money wasn't there. I had to get to work, so I told her that we would sort this out later, so it's assuming the OP has a second job. The owner just called me and apologized, saying that one of the servers was caught on camera stealing my money from under the drawer of the register. I know who it was, and since I picked up weekends there, she's been treating me like I'm a threat. So now I'm trying to decide if it's even worth it to press charges or let her get fired and figure her own S out. I'll get my money back regardless, whether she gives them the envelope willingly or the owner pays me from his own pocket. This is mostly a rant, but I'm disappointed that someone would do this, and I'm worried that she probably has stolen tips off of other people's tables. In over 8 years of me being with this company, we've never had this happen as far as we know, I guess, period.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's very crazy.
I don't think I've ever had anybody steal my tips. I've always been nervous about it though. Like, since when I was working at y'all's restaurant, when people would leave cash tips on the table and it was the host's job to bust the table, I would always be nervous that the host would like pocket my cash. That I don't think they ever did though. Like,
that's what that one coworker was doing, unless we're thinking about two different people.
I'm thinking about the one that put their email into the rewards points.
Oh,
and then points to buy or like take money out of the bar register or something.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about two different people. She took money from the company, which is a story you can tell if you want to, because that is a pretty spicy story and she doesn't work there anymore. But the one I was talking about, I'm going to take her name out, but I'm talking about so you know who I'm talking about.
Was she the one that said that she was like, her mom like founded the company?
Yeah,
or something?
That she was there and helped all of our owners found the company and that she was our restaurant's royalty and da-da-da-da. She took money off of servers, like cash money off of servers' tables. It only happened a few times, and when she got caught is because she took another server's Gucci sunglasses. You don't remember that? Maybe that. I
No,
feel you had to be there. I know Kevin was not there during this time because
I do remember that, actually. I couldn't remember who it was, but I do remember that. I don't think I ever knew that it was actually her, but I knew her sunglasses did get stolen. But
yeah, they caught her on
yeah.
camera. It only happened like twice.
How long did she
I-
last there? A couple months.
About a month or two. Not long at all.
Killable employee.
But I remember her because that happened. So if somebody only lasted a month or two and I remember them, it's because of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have that one steal money from the company by the rewards points. Do you want to go into that, or we could talk about that on a different podcast? It's up to you, because I
Sure,
don't want to
can.
like monopolize the time of the thing, you know.
Basically, so our handhelds, remember, we like after you sign and put in the tip and everything, at the end it asks if you want to put in your email to receive reward points. And I'm pretty sure the way the rewards points worked, it was like 1 point for like every 50 cents or something. And so if you got like 50 points from continuously eating at the company, you would get like $25 off your food or whatever. And so that's kind of how it worked. But a lot of people wouldn't read the fine print, so they didn't know what the email was really for. So they always skipped it or just left the handheld on the table or something with the area where you put your email in still up. And so what happened was that the customer left that part of the screen up. She would put in her own email and get their rewards points from the money that they spent. And so at first, I think it started as like she was just using those rewards points to buy her meal because, of course, with this company, they don't pay their employees or they don't give their employees free food. I think they do in the kitchen, but
Yeah,
not
they do
the
in
servers.
the kitchen, but front of house workers get 50% off.
Yeah. So she used the points to buy her employee meal, but then she realized that it was like she used the rewards points to pay for people's meals that paid in cash, and then she pocketed the cash.
And it ended up
she was
being like
not
$4,000.
She was
And she
not
what?
She would tell everybody. She would
Did
say,
she?
"Oh,
I
this-
didn't hear anything about it until she got fired.
oh yeah."
She was using the points for her own meals, but so were a lot of people at that time.
Yeah, and then after the company found out that she was doing that and got fired, one of the owners was like, "Yeah, you can't. Nobody can do that anymore, and if you're caught doing it, you can get fired." So like
you couldn't even get rewards points on your own food if you were paying for it.
I remember getting the message that we couldn't get the points while we were at Preface.
Oh,
I
yeah,
looked at
wait.
opposite store from them.
That's what I was about to
I looked
say.
at different locations than them. We got it during the Christmas party. It's a double whammy because we also weren't getting
That's
gift cards
crazy to
anymore
get
either,
that
which
through.
is terrible. Yeah.
That's crazy to get that news at the Christmas party, bro.
But what's so funny is that, like, after that employee got fired, I think a couple weeks later, she just walked back into the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And she sat at the bar. I remember talking to her, and she was, like, boasting about it almost. And I was like, girl, get out. What are you doing? But she just, like, I'm pretty sure she was drunk. She almost was always drunk. But
Oh, yeah, I'm shocked she didn't get fired sooner, to be honest with you.
she was like, I stole so much money. I stole this amount from the company. And we were just like, girl, you're
One
gonna
time that employee was bringing up shots to a random table that didn't have any guests at it and was taking them during the shift. We were both closing together and it took us forever because she got blocked by the time and I ended up closing by myself.
Yeah.
She
was just a ray of sunshine, let me tell you.
I didn't hate working with her except for like the moments like that. I don't think anybody did, but that has happened.
Yeah.
Anywhere you've ever been, I might have already asked if anybody's taken any of your tips or you know of that happening at any of your restaurant experiences, Kev.
I don't know if anybody's ever actually taken any from me, but I've been working somewhere where somebody was definitely taking money. Yeah. And when I was working at other location, one of our employees was also doing the rewards point thing. Not nearly as much as the other party, but yeah, got fired immediately.
Oh gosh, yeah, I didn't know that happened over there either.
Yeah, we all knew it was happening, and I already knew who it was.
Nobody else at my store knew who it was, except for the person I was dating at the time, because they were really good friends.
Mm.
That's how I knew.
Well, there you go, folks. It does happen in the restaurant in crazy ways.
Ah, Kitty. Hello, Kitty.
Kevin, make a noise so we can see the cat, because now we have cat tax.
That was the cat,
Introduce
not me.
us.
That's Smokey. This is Smokey. Anyway.
Yeah. Remember, we get an update. I want to go over some of the comments first before we get into the update. So top comment is, I used to work at a big place that hired just about anybody who walked through the door. We worked on 3-people teams, and there was a guy who quickly became known for stealing cash payments. At first, he was able to get away with it. Oh, that table just stiffed us, and the team would just eat it. But then it would happen a couple of times during his shift and only in his section. Then we'd transfer and work on another team, and the problem would follow him. Oh, that table just stiffed us. We could never get him or on camera because the place didn't even have cameras, but that dude ended up getting his effing A beat in an alley by more than a few people and never showed back up to work after that.
Dang.
Kevin's face is priceless right now.
Was not expecting that.
Yeah. And I mean, I've never thought about that, but that actually could easily happen in a lot of places, especially like ours, because we have to keep, if somebody pays in cash, we have to keep it until the end of the night and then turn it back in to the manager.
I've been around where once or twice when somebody just leaves with it on purpose. I've accidentally left with it. I was telling somebody about this the other day. I left with like $250 of the store's money in my pocket, and I didn't turn it in until like 2 days later. They were so mad at me. They didn't fire me though.
Okay, but at least you turned it in.
They didn't even
You
know it
didn't
was
keep it.
missing from me. They just knew that there was money missing.
Oh my gosh, when I was a fresh baby server, I didn't know how to do cash transactions properly.
I remember
Oh,
this
no.
story. I remember this so vividly,
Oh
McKenna,
my gosh.
because you were
And-
so upset about it.
Like, but it was like probably my first week of serving or something like that. And mind you, I was 17, but
You were 18.
oh,
'cause you had a
18.
big- I'm
Yeah, I guess
sorry.
that's true. I got at 17. That's even sadder though. Like, I should be old enough to know. But
Well, no,
Anyway.
you're fine. You had to be a host for months because they don't let you be a server unless you're over 18. They only did that one time, and that's because they didn't realize the server wasn't 18. Because she had been there for so long, they thought she turned 18 already.
But my table they were gonna pay in cash, and they gave me a $100 bill. And I went to the bar and got change, and I gave them the entire $100 in change to them.
Oof. Ooh.
Yeah, and then I was surprised when they didn't pay at the end of the night. They just took it. I don't think they realized that it was just $100 broken up. And so I don't fault them at all. That was definitely my fault. But I literally, like, somebody had to teach me and be just like,
I think it was
so
me.
bill is 25. It probably was you, honestly.
Because you came up to me and you told me, you were like, when you give people change back, are they not supposed to like count it back out and give it to you? And I was like, no. I was like, you give them the change that they needed it back and then you keep the rest of it until the end of the night. You were so upset, girl, but it's fine. You make mistakes. You were fine, dude. Don't beat
Oh my
yourself up like that.
Awful. So a message to all the new servers out there: you can mess up. It's okay. Your life will
Oh,
be
we've all
still on.
messed up. We've all messed up multiple times, except for Kevin, because Kevin didn't answer, so Kevin's perfect.
It's true.
Okay, so OP responded to that comment by saying, now that you said it, this server in particular somehow knew when any of those tables, and only those tables in her sections, would stiff their server, unless if someone asked them if I saw any money on their table after a guest leaves. I would say yes or no, but this server always had an answer like, oh yeah, I think they stiffed you, or yeah, I think they left money on the card. Like, hun, no one is asking you where the money is, just if you saw any money on the table. I'm not there enough to know what's going on there since I'm only on call, but I've heard enough gossip to know that this server rubs everyone the wrong way. So it definitely seems like that server is stealing their money, for sure. Y'all want to get into the update?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Kevin's nodding his head, I promise. I'm just going to give y'all a hard time because I know it's only filming whoever's talking. I'm sorry. Okay. So, an update to yesterday, the server has been fired. The owner is pressing theft charges against her due to more than just my money being taken from the register. The managers did a test to see if she was stealing tips off of people's table during the lunch shift, which is probably why they waited to fire her. So the wild thing is that she apparently didn't give the money back. Apparently they gave her the chance to forfeit the envelope at least, but she got defensive. Either way, they had called the police before pulling her in the back office to confront her. So when she left the office, there were 2 officers already there. It was the owner's decision since she committed theft against the restaurant. To answer some questions on yesterday's post, we don't have a camera on the register specifically. We have one at the entrance and 2 at both exits. The register is next to the entrance, so that's why it's on camera. 2. It's a small diner with less than 10 people working at a time. Servers bust their own tables and help bust each other's tables since the other servers were suspicious of her taking tips. I'm not sure why they waited until my money was stolen to say something. Maybe it's because they're new? I don't know. 3. I didn't ask for the managers to bring the envelope from the office. They just said they would, and I was like, cool, see you soon. They should have waited until I was 10 minutes away, but that's kind of beside the point. Only 4 people have codes to use the register, the owner, me, and the managers. She shouldn't have been able to get into the register without a code. The only reason why servers should go to the register is to check in reservations and to check in the prepaid carryouts. Otherwise, the front of house manager stays up at the front and handles transactions. I hope this explains why the dynamic is a little bit different at this spot, and I hope y'all enjoy the bittersweet ending to this fiasco. The owner reimbursed me on Cash App.
At least you got reimbursed though.
I
That's
am
what
too.
count.
And I realized, guys, I actually had 5 stories because I just swiped and there was another Reddit story. I'm so sorry.
Hop off, Queen.
I know. Are y'all okay for one more?
Yes,
Yeah.
make it on.
Okay, because I have another podcast to film after this, but we don't start until 7:30 because I wanted to do this last week. But I'm doing a music festival ones with my friends I went to Shaky Knees with, but Kevin's not coming because he's lame.
Boo. Boo, Kevin. Tomato, tomato, tomato.
I'm
Yeah.
a loser, I know.
But do we have any? So I'm giving you guys 5 Reddit stories instead of 4 Reddit stories. Okay.
Bonus round.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. The little bonus round jingle.
Bonus
Sing us bonus
round.
round. Yeah. All right.
You know that one video where that girl makes the Dr. Pepper jingle and she's like, Dr. Pepper, it's good and nice.
No, I don't, but you need to send me
God.
that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so funny because she just made that video and she was just like, yeah, I have a new song for Dr. Pepper, and then it kind of blew up, and then people are like making, putting instruments behind it and making it an actual jingle. I'll have to send it to you.
I love that. Yeah, please
Shout out
do.
to her.
Please do. And if you send it to me, I'll put it right here in the video so everybody else can see it. Well, I don't know if I can for copyright reasons, but maybe if it's right here in the video, I can. If not, my bad, guys. Okay. So our last story, again, is from r/tales from your server. I cannot read the username for this one because there's a cuss word in it. Okay. Nightmare customer tries to build their own off-menu pasta dish, then gets upset when charged full price.
It only makes sense that you're getting charged full price.
Why? I want to know your thoughts on why.
Unless you're removing a ton of things to like a $15 thing, you're just adding more than would normally be on there. So you're gonna get charged like that.
I agree. I just wanted to hear your full take. And as a picky eater, I don't expect to be charged less either, but let's see how the story progresses. Being a picky eater is fine, but at bare minimum, you have to work within the confines of what's actually available. Fair. I always tell people whenever there's a issue on where we want to go to eat, I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'm sure I can find something somehow, even if it's a side. McKenna got mad at me one time when I only ordered sides at somewhere, I don't remember where, but she's like, you need to eat food. I'm like, I got 2 sides. That's food.
I always feel so bad. I always want to make sure that we go to a restaurant that like has something that I know you'll eat. But honestly, the last time that we went out together, we just shared a bunch of appetizers and it was
glorious.
So
it was glorious. We need to go back there whenever you come back into town.
Absolutely.
I might still have a picture of it. I'll put our spread if you're watching it on YouTube and not listening. Okay, sorry, that was a side tangent, guys. Being a picky eater is fine, but at minimum, you have to work within the confines of what you're what's actually available. Enter one stubborn a-hole who took the menu items as a suggestion, but as a point of negotiation. I'm looking at the pastas. Do you have any? I'm not sure how to pronounce this, so I am so sorry for all of my pasta connoisseurs, but rotini?
Yeah.
So I'm going with rotini. I don't know. So yeah, I apologize if that's wrong. But so it's a back and forth conversation between the waitress and the customer. So the server. No, just spaghetti, rigatoni, fettuccine, penne, and bow tie pasta, I believe. That page has all of the available pasta dishes that we serve. Customer. Well, you should carry rotini, but I'll start with a fettuccine base, and I'd like to add bolognese. Again, sorry if I'm pronouncing some of these ingredients wrong, guys. Mushrooms, basils, bell pepper, ... Server. I'm sorry to cut you off, sir, but we don't offer a build-your-own pasta dish. We offer what's listed on the menu, but I can make a couple of modifications. Customer. Well, that's ridiculous. If you have the items, you should be able to make it. Server. It's restaurant policy. It helps the kitchen flow. Customer. Or back on the regular. He angrily stares at me and says, well, I'm gonna need a minute. No problem, bud. I haven't even asked if your table was ready to order before you started ordering anyway. I talked to the kitchen manager to give him a heads up and he doubles down on not allowing grand modifications. I return after a few, and this guy's body language tells me he's already prepared an opening statement for the courtroom. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the chicken Alfredo, but instead of cream sauce, I want bolognese, no tomatoes, I want extra mushrooms, add basil, bell peppers, no Parmesan, and instead of chicken, I want fresh cod. Server. Sir, I can only do a couple of substitutions, and our fresh cod is a separate dish entirely. Customer. Look, please talk to your kitchen. It's what I want. This guy seemed like he was just trying to really impress his friends, who looked pretty mortified. I find the kitchen manager again. He shakes his head and goes, all right. Well, ring in both a pasta bolognese and a fresh fish of the day. So that's a $42 pasta. Bravo, buddy. The table gets their food, and this guy flashes me the most idiotic smirk, just like he's got one over on us, and says, see, that wasn't too hard. And by the way, it's delicious. You should think about adding it to your menu. This self-satisfied piece of work. They finally get the bill, and this dude's face is priceless. ... Well, there definitely was a price to his expression. ... About $42. He says, did you really charge me for 2 entrees? Me. Yes, I told you the cod was a separate dish. He didn't have much room to argue there. Thankfully, his friend paid and left a fat tip, probably out of vicarious embarrassment.
Who wants cod on pasta? Be real. Be so for real. Kevin, don't say it. Don't say what you're about to say.
I won't. It's fine.
We were about to say you would want cod on pasta,
No, keep it on the side.
but you would add it together. If we were all at a restaurant, Kevin does this, slowly cuts up his cod, gets it on the fork, gets a little bit of noodle, eats it at the same time while McKenna's turned away.
I would do that. I wouldn't put the fish all in the pasta. That sounds like a lot.
It doesn't sound very appetizing to me. Shrimp and pasta is one thing. I can get behind that, but
I'll do shrimp.
I don't like fish.
Oh,
I can do
you're
shrimp
losing.
if it's like cooked really specifically, but I'm really picky about it. But again, we've already established I'm a picky eater. It's most of the texture, but fish just has a specific taste. Like before I was like really conscious of fish and what it tasted like, my parents would also say like, I don't like fish if it tastes fishy. And I was like, isn't that the point of fish, to taste fishy? But I get it now. But I get it. It's a specific type of taste, and we live in a place where there's a lot of fish camps, and so if you get it, you get it. The South, you get it. We are not in a landlocked state like McKenna is now, so the seafood isn't quite suspicious, but when it's suspicious, it's suspicious.
I would not trust seafood here. I'm in Colorado, just for some background. I haven't been out and about ordering seafood and all that, but I mean, I'm so far from the coast that I would not trust any seafood at all. But hey, if you're watching and you're in Colorado and you know some great places that have great seafood, drop it in the comments, though. I'd love to know.
Yeah, help our girl out.
I'm new here.
Promote your local businesses.
For real.
Yeah, promote small businesses, family mom and pop shop restaurants. Actually, that might be worse for seafood, but any restaurant in Colorado, let her know, guys, and let us know if we ever visit her. That's the plan. Hopefully this summer. So that's the plan. But thoughts on the story, I guess. Like, I mean, I know Just Desserts, like he dealt with it. Any more thoughts on that?
I know you know who I'm about to bring up right now.
Okay.
I know you know. I don't know if Kevin knows.
Maybe.
You might, maybe. But there is this one woman who comes in.
The napkin lady.
Yes.
Yep.
She comes in every
Mhm.
once in a while. She's not, I wouldn't say she's exactly a regular, but she's been there a few times.
I haven't seen her in like a year, but
Yeah.
I have seen her a few times too.
But so we're kind of the same way, or y'all are now. It's, you know, a Tex-Mex kind of taco place. Not to name any names, but
It's a millennial taco joint, like the meme, like the burger taco or the burger millennial burger joints. We're literally a millennial taco joint.
that's the best way to describe it, honestly. But we do not have a section where there's a build your own taco. It's just a list of already, you know, pre-made tacos. Not pre-made, but you get what I'm saying. But she would come in fully aware that we do not have a build your own taco section on the menu. And she would write her perfect taco ingredient by ingredient on a napkin and hand it to you and say, this is what I want. And it's like corn tortilla, shrimp, chunks of avocado, not guacamole, chunks of avocado.
You remember this way better than I do. I don't remember her order.
It's just so hard to forget. It baffled me. I was speechless. I was standing there staring at her napkin like, okay. But yeah, it was like just a list of a bunch of random ingredients from different kinds of tacos. And of course, we had all the ingredients in house, but it was awful because you had to figure a way to bring it into the kitchen and like price it properly. And yeah, it was pretty bad. And I had to, like, after I rung it in, I had to go into the kitchen and tell Expo, I'm just like, just to be clear, this is the taco that she wants, and hands them the napkin. So
I remember one time she got upset, like not like let me speak to your manager upset, more just like I guess mildly annoyed, and she's like, it's never the same price. I wonder why.
you're right. This
Because it
like,
depends on the server, it depends on how it's rang in, it depends on the manager during the shift.
yeah. So I can sympathize with picky eaters, honestly. I can. Like, I know some things are just like, especially a texture, like you said, Sydney.
Mhm.
But don't be that person. Don't be that person. That's not acceptable restaurant behavior.
I
Absolutely
know.
not.
I get so nervous if I have to do like mild modifications on anything. Like I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna be mad at me. Like I remember we went to a place when you were in town, Mac, that had it was a really good quesadilla, but there was like peppers and spinach in it on the menu, like listed on the menu. And I was like, can I get it without peppers and spinach? Because I just get so nervous. And especially if something can't be modified, because like at our restaurant, we do have a few things that can't be modified because we have one item that like is made in advance or it will fall apart in the fryer. And I don't want to say it out loud just in case there's not, that's potentially the only one in America that has that title of menu, but probably not, but you know what I mean, just in case. But I always get nervous and I don't want to make anybody mad, but as a server, I'm like, I don't care if you give me modifications in moderation. But sometimes, like, when some people, I'm just like, I just want you to tell me what you want on it instead of listing all of the things you don't want on it, because it makes it easier. Especially when somebody's like, I want a taco with just meat and cheese. That makes it so much easier. But if they're like, I don't want a taco with pico, crema, lettuce, all of the things that it lit on the taco, and I'm like, okay, yeah. We do have buttons for that, but then the list gets like super long and then it makes it hard for the kitchen too.
Yeah. I mean, like, as a server, I don't really care. I'm not going to judge you if you don't like specific things. Like, I'm not a big fan of peppers. So if anything has peppers in it, I'm just going to ask for them off. Like, but I would say it's a spectrum, but there's like extremes that people shouldn't go to. Like, at least freaking look at the menu beforehand and, you know, think out your order if it's if you think it's going to be super complicated. But like being picky is one thing and wanting certain ingredients and modifications on your food. Okay, that's cool. Be nice about it. I don't really care. Like I'll just put it in. But if you're going to a restaurant where you're walking in there knowing that they don't have what you like, and then you walk in there and hand your server a list of ingredients and say, make me a taco, I'm going to complain about you to the kitchen. I'm going to complain to everybody. I'm going to walk into that restaurant and tell all my coworkers, that lady out there, she's a Karen. Watch out, people.
Watch out, people. I guess that was the last one. Kevin, do you have anything else you want to say?
Kevin's about to fall asleep right now.
I
A little
know. He's enjoying the bed.
Mhm. They won't see any of that.
Anyway, hey, Sid, before we log off, I have an idea for you for your next like server podcast episode.
Okay, I'm so intrigued now.
I was scrolling on Instagram last night and I found this video that was like, I'm bored. Give me your best one-liners as a server that you give to your customers that makes them just eat the entire time. And so I was just scrolling through the comments and they're all so hilarious. Like, I wish I could be that funny, man. Whoever, like, if you're born and is that funny, like, you're blessed for real. But I was scrolling through these comments for probably a good 30 minutes because they're all so funny. And I'll give you an example. So the first comment, the top comment says, in quotes, do we have any allergies or are we finding out together? Hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Another
That's
one
scary.
is, places a plate that's hot. This plate is hot. Places the next plate. And this one has a great personality. Like, they're just so good. And I know if I was a customer and a server said that, I would eat it up too. Even though if you're in the server's like position, you're just like, this is the most corniest thing ever. But like,
Oh, you know those like, can I get anything else for you? Yeah, $1 million dads would like live for that.
oh yeah. But it's
So
so
the idea is to go over like those episodes, or
Yeah.
I mean those. I think that would be fun.
reacting, or even like if there's a bunch of people on here, we could like go in a list and be just like, what's your favorite that you use, if you use them at all, but there's just some things that you'll do just about anything to get a tip as a server, because when that dad says, yeah, I'd like $1 million, you're gonna laugh your butt off whether you think it's funny or not.
I agree.
Don't lie and say that you don't. I know you do.
Liz just said she's like, OMG, I forgot. And I said, we're still on if you want to come on and say hey for the lols.
Right as we're about to hang up.
I know.
Right.
And we literally just finished the last story. I don't know if she will or not, but
Liz
no,
will
I
jump
think
on
that would
and
be
say
fun. What?
Liz will jump on and say goodnight to Kevin. It's about to take a little nap.
I know. Kevin's falling asleep. It's before your bedtime. It's only 6:44.
Cue the
man.
long dramatic pause.
A man of little
I didn't
words.
have nothing to say.
Should I try to find another story for Liz? But
My
I'm like,
plan. I'm talking to my mom. Sorry.
you're
Hey,
fine,
Mom.
dude. Mother,
Mother.
I crave
Mother.
violence.
I crave violence.
I know Kevin's tired, so Kevin, if you need to like leave, that's fine, man. I don't want you to be too sleepy.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off here. Toodles.
Okay, bye, Kev.
Yeah.
Liz, what's up?
Yeah, I had to like type the code in manually.
I'm not sure what that was about, dude. I'm gonna find. So we just finished our last story, but I'm low-key. I'm about to find a sixth one for everybody. So this is my amazing, beautiful best friend, and she used to work at our place of work. And Liz has been at our place since spring.
Like May-ish last year.
So, fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, Liz is also a high school teacher full time.
Yes.
So we stand Liz.
All right. It was nice to meet you, Liz.
You too. Bye.
Later.
Bye, McKenna.
Love you.
Love you too. But we could just do one story and then we can end it off, and then you can tell your students you're like, I was in a podcast.
Sure, that I joined like way late.
You just tell them. I usually take about 10 to 15 minutes out of just like the random chatting and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'll give you, and this one will be posted, hopefully, if I get it done. This one will be posted next Monday.
Okay.
So I'll give you the link, and then I'll give you a timestamp of like, here you are.
Okay.
Me and Liz are both fine arts teachers too, so we get we get each other.
Yes.
So I want to do a teacher podcast, but a lot of the teachers at my school are a little bit older, and so I get nervous about asking them. And then I've got a couple of teachers that are long distance, but we just haven't been able to come up with a time yet. But if I ever do that, if you'd be interested, that would be fun.
Yes, and I'll set a reminder.
Yeah, you're okay, I promise. Like I said, on that group chat, I've got a group chat with a bunch of servers that's like said they're interested in doing the podcast just for the people in the context. I'm always like, if you guys want to join, you can. If not, no worries, because I know everybody's busy. And our restaurant is closed on Monday, so usually that's the best way, because we're filming this on Monday, January 19th. So Martin Luther King Day.
Yes.
So happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. I found one more story since you're here.
Okay.
And it's going to be a reaction from me because I didn't read it all the way, but we can react to this last story. So everybody's getting 6 stories for this Reddit podcast episode instead of 5. So you guys get a little bit of a treat.
Yay.
Okay. So this one is from r/tales of your server. Tales from your server. We don't care about reservations. We're hungry and we're going to eat. That's the title. So last night was probably the busiest night we've had for the last week. I'm a waitress at an upscale steakhouse restaurant. The hostess up front put us at an hour-long wait for walk-ins because we had so many booked reservations, which is usual protocol from the general manager. Well, this particular couple had me fuming beyond belief during our peak hour of the night. The front lobby is packed with guests waiting for a table while reservations are seated as soon as possible. The hostess have a system on an iPad to tell the managers to let all of the managers know which guest is seated where and how long they've stayed, etc., etc. We used to have this at the restaurant we were working at, but we have moved to just doing everything on a whiteboard now. But I'm bussing at a table in my section when I overhear one of the hostess try to speak to a pair at my section a booth over. This couple walked into the restaurant, saw the amount of people waiting for a table, and decided to seat themselves with no reservations. They also sat at a dirty effing table, and here I am thinking, are these people for real? This is what I got between the hostess and the older man sitting down with his wife. Excuse me, sir, you didn't come up to the host stand in order for us to find out what reservations you had. Customer, we don't have reservations. Someone needs to clean this S up, pointing at the messy table. Hostess, I'm sorry, sir, but if you don't have a reservation, the wait is going to be an hour long. Someone has already requested this booth by the fireplace and they need to be seated. Customer, we don't care about reservations. We're hungry and we're going to eat. Get someone to clean our D table. I'm not asking a third time. After that failure, the hostess looked at me pretty shaken up. She'd never dealt with any guests that were that rude and upfront before, so it was understandable. With my Latina blood boiling, I went over to the a-holes. This is my section, and after hearing that conversation, you both have no right to be served. There is a family waiting for this table, and I'm going to have to ask you to leave, unless you want me to get my manager to escort you out. The couple squawked at me, demanding I get them drinks, while I went straight to my GM, who saw what had already happened with the hostess. They were escorted out, and they were told they weren't welcome back. This is the type of stuff I don't think I'll ever get used to. If you have to wait an hour long for a table like everyone else, then you just do it. If not, go to another restaurant. That's the story.
Wow. That's yeah. Well, it's almost like how they don't just going with customers doing anything with like sections and stuff. Like they don't care that they got assigned a table for a reason. They're just gonna go sit wherever they want.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Kills me, bro.
Yeah, or like if they see the restaurant's busy, they don't care that it's busy. They want, food right now or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is people that self-seat. And at our restaurant, you have to start off as a host. So we've both been hosts before. Do you have like a specific moment that you remember somebody self-seating or something?
Oh yeah, well there's this family that comes in there and well, I say family, it's like mom maybe and her older daughter and son who's and I say older but maybe like 17-year-old maybe. And every time they come in, she's always like, I don't care like where you're trying to tip me, I'm gonna sit at this particular booth. And it's always 30, what is it, 31? Is that the booth?
What if 31 is occupied? Has that ever happened? I don't know who you're talking about, to be honest.
If that's occupied, then she wants to sit at the other one, and if that's occupied, then she grudgingly like goes to the 11 through 14. And then
Which
if
are
they're
half booth.
occupied, then I don't know. I think they've only been occupied one time.
That's
So-
crazy. I cannot imagine having that much demand of a restaurant. Every time I go somewhere and they're like, do you want to sit inside or outside? I'm like, man, whatever's best for you guys and y'all's rotation.
Right, right. The only time I've ever been like picky about where I sit is if I have my kid and, in booths, I can like lock him into one side. But even that, I'm like, you know what? I say I prefer a booth, but if that ain't gonna be convenient, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So the top comment says, glad to see you are at least able to resolve it the right way. I've heard far too many stories on this subreddit where egotistical customers like this end up getting their way just because management is too afraid of bad reviews. Well done to all involved. And OP said, there has been moments where bad customers have gotten their way over here, but this was a lucky case of it happening right in front of the general manager's face. She wasn't going to stand for it, and just like everybody else.
Well, yeah,
I'm actually glad they did it.
Right, because you'd rather have one bad review than bad reviews from however many people were there waiting their turn,
Mm-hmm.
Because I sure would be pissed. Like, if I was that family and I, had my kid or God forbid, like a baby or something, and, all right, it's my turn, and then somebody else took my turn, I'd be pissed.
Oh, yeah. I would be so upset, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I agree. I know that we used to, so where our host stands at now, it's like right when you walk into the door where the host stands at. A few years before you got there, we had a general manager who does not work at our restaurant anymore, but he used to like rearrange the restaurant and surprise us because he always wanted to keep it fresh. One time he put the host stand like next to the wall. And for that era, it was only like 3 months that it was like that. So many people would just the host stand and just sit because they didn't see it.
Right.
And we had so many self-seatings. It was such a problem during that time, but we don't really have it much now. But at that time, that was like my biggest pet peeve was when people would self-seat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. There's not much to it. I'm glad they got their just desserts. A lot of people don't, but I'm glad they do.
Right, I know. Well, and it's good that we don't really have that problem that much, but we also aren't really ever put on I mean, since I've been working there, we haven't been put on a wait necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's been tough in the restaurant world lately.
Yeah, but I also think there should be a max of like in my head, if I'm going to a restaurant, if the wait is longer than 35 minutes, then I already have another restaurant in mind,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So-
yeah, I do that too when we eat out with our family. We go and see how long the wait is, and that determines on if we're going to stay or not.
Right. Or
We're
even
not
just
going to make it their
call.
problem.
Right.
Yeah, that too.
So
But yeah, I guess that's it then. So we got an extra story thanks to Liz.
mhm.
So
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll remember to
guess
do it time next time.
Girl, you're fine. A lot of people join early, late, and like I said, Kevin and Mac had to leave, so that's all right. It's just whoever wants to do this is fun. If this channel ever gets monetized, I'll share the ad revenue with you guys.
No,
If
it's okay.
if it doesn't, I don't know. It's just for fun, and I like editing, so we make these little fun little videos every other week, guys. So there's a podcast every other Monday. So I'll do my official intro or exit. We'll finish recording, and then we can say our official goodbyes. But
Okay.
thanks so much for watching, guys. Do all of the things that all the YouTubers ask you to do. So like and subscribe, and I will see you guys every other Monday. Bye. I'll stop recording.